Hi everybody, thanks for coming back. Really appreciate it. I know I say that a lot, but that's because I appreciate it a lot every time. So, boy, this will learn you a lesson in trying to not have videos be so damn long. I'm sorry. Thank you for hanging in there. Maybe you watch them in 3 pieces or something, or just, like I say, bring a sandwich. But I got a warning last time, or a few minutes ago when I was doing this. I'm having to do it again, which is not like me, just do it in one take. But this is the second take of this one, because I got about a minute into it, and I got a pop-up screen that says, hey, you're running dangerously low on hard drive space. And I talked about that, I know, in a previous video, because somewhere, I put them a little further away, but I've got 2 terabytes, 2 1 terabyte SSDs. I just got to put them in. But for the moment, it's complaining about hard drive space on the C drive of this computer, and it's saying it's critically low. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're critically low. I closed the thing, and then after about 5 minutes into the video, it quit. It said, you're out of space, and we have to stop the camera. So tough shit. We're stopping the camera. So I'm like, oh man. So I went through and I did some cleanup, and actually what I did was I made sure that these videos were on YouTube, and then I thought, okay, let's let YouTube hang on to them, and I'm going to delete them. So I got a few gigabytes, I think 3 or 4 gigabytes, so that should be okay. I'm running 720p here. I might give that some thought next time. Well, I just need to put the SSDs in. Damn it. I got 2 terabytes of empty space right over there. They just need to be right over there instead. Okay, so this is going to be about injuries, because as I said, like I said before, I play every sport ever invented. I've played them all. Still play at a competitive level as best I can, and except golf. I've never played golf. Don't want to play golf. So you get a lot of injuries, is where I'm going with that. And I've already talked about the cross-checking in the mouth, split my lip completely open playing ice hockey. Right, I've already done that one. So that'd be one injury, but I've got more. And actually, I might even get into a couple surgeries. Injury, surgery, kind of the same thing. Yeah, just for the general housekeeping stuff, I've got some background music going on. This is, I was going to use Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms, and I forgot and fired this up instead, and so this has been used before. This is Cena drums and Mueller with background music. And another shout out to my great friend Deanna Petku, because I was talking to her, because she had seen a couple of the videos, where I'm talking about learning from professionals, and I said, for one thing, is I've got background music on, whatever it is. At that time, it's something for background music. And she's like, that's me, you're talking about me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking about you, of course. I'm saying I'm learning from professionals, plural, but I'm really mostly you, or maybe exclusively you. I said, I'm just copying the hell out of what you do, because you know what you're doing. You're great at this. So whether it's background music, or whether it's lighting, shadows and sharp shadows, or whether it's the backdrop, put some props, maybe a few props, so that it's interesting, but keep it clean and not all cluttered, and visually looking okay. This isn't particularly wonderful, but I'm not saying it's visually appealing, but at least it's not visually repulsive. So there's that. Got the John Wick. Oh, I put the poster now. I finally got a bigger box, and so it sits up high enough now you can see the entire thing from top to bottom. And I do like the John Wick movies. I do. I mean, they're action movies. They're not for everybody. And I've had people say, what are you doing? What's going on? What have you been up to? And I say, well, I just finished renting, John Wick 2 or whatever. And they're like, oh, did you like that? I haven't seen any of those movies yet. And I say, oh, I love it. Love them. Love the series. I said, but, I warned them. I said, they're not for everybody. They're an action movie, and in particular, this won't be a spoiler, for anybody. Everybody gets shot. Everybody. even the director and the cinematographer and the production assistant, everybody anywhere having anything to do with this movie is going to get shot, and many of them are going to die. Most of them are going to die. So, know that going in. But, I mean, it's more than that. It's not just about, like kids playing laser tag or something. There's stories behind it and backstories and motivations and roads to redemption and, there's a story. It's not Citizen Kane or, Gone with the Wind or Casablanca or anything like that. It's an action movie. But I liked him. And the thing is, Keanu Reeves, I've been really impressed with. I've seen some behind-the-scenes stuff of where he's training, and I know what I'm doing with all those guns that he's using, and I can tell that he knows what he's doing. And he's using pistols, he's using rifles, generally an AR-15 or an AK-47, because there's times in the movies where he ends up picking up one of the bad guys' guns as well, so he ends up with a variety of weapons, and also shotguns. So, combat shotguns. So, anyway, it's really cool, this thing I found on YouTube behind the scenes, and he's got a range officer or instructor, right there on his shoulder, and he's running through the course and just knocking down, metal plates, bam, 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 and then moving on to another place, get behind cover, turn around, bam, 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 and he's just drops that gun because it's empty, or he's supposed to be pretending that it jammed on him or that it's empty, and he doesn't have any more ammo to reload, so he just drops it and picks up another gun and continues on, kind of like you would or kind of like he does in the movies. And so anyway, mad respect from me for Keanu Reeves. He is, I would say, the best actor in movies today as far as being able to do that himself. He doesn't have a stunt man doing any of those kind of things. He's doing all those things himself. And so, anyway, that's not necessarily the reason why I got that painting. As I've said before, I did it for colors and cars too. But also, I do like the John Wick movies. If I hated the movie, if the movie was stupid or something, I wouldn't get the thing. But anyway, we're going to go with injuries, right? Because I don't know if I got to that far, because I forget. Because like I said, I did this for a few minutes and then I ran out of space. If you play a lot of sports, you're going to get a lot of injuries, and I might even segue from injuries to surgeries. Here, I got a couple notes. I actually did write something down. It's going to be that. I'll start with there. I was, how old was I? Let's say 10 years old. And I'm playing in the alley, and there was a kid up the street about a block or two away, and we were generally enemies. And I'm on foot, and he and two of his friends are chasing me on 3 bicycles. So I got 3 bikes, pedaling hard downhill, so they got the gravity going for them, and I'm running because I can't take on 3 of these guys at once. Although maybe I should have gone that way, given how it ended up. I ended up getting a broken ankle. Long story short, there, one of the kids ran over my ankle, clipped it, and broke it. So now I've got it, and it's in the beginning of summer, and I was really bummed out because you want to have plans to do stuff in the summertime, and I got to, they take the X-rays and they're like, yeah, it's not just sprained or you're not just hurting, it's broken. So they're going to put you in this cast. It's a below-the-knee cast, and they gave me what's called a walking cast. So it's got this big rubber thing at the bottom of it, the very bottom, so you can walk on it, thumping along like a pirate with a peg leg or something, with or without crutches, depending on how much is healed up or your pain tolerance or whatever. So anyway, I'm determined to have my summer, so I'm bike riding. I'm riding my bike with a cast on, and so that's the injury that's going to get into a robbery story. I'm trying to think of some injuries that have some interesting parts to them. So there's that part of it then, and now I'm bike riding with a cast on, and I'm riding with one of my friends, and we're in Tower Grove Park in the city, and there's 2 of us bike riding around, and these 2 other bigger kids, I think we're both about 10. These kids are about 14 or 15 or so. They're probably not driving age, or they'd be driving and they'd be carjacking people rather than bike jacking me. jackasses. But anyway, they're bigger kids. Like I said, they're 4 or 5 years older than we are. Plus, my friend, he takes off right away. Just by the way we were, he was further away from them by 25 feet than I was. So he just makes a hard turn and just pedals away as fast as he can. Thanks a lot. I gave him crap about that for quite some time because, like I said, I was probably 25 feet closer to these two guys, and I'm riding a bicycle with a cast on my leg, right? And the one guy comes running over to me, and he's got like either a baseball bat or maybe just a big piece of wood from a tree, a limb from a tree that's pretty sizable, got some weight to it. And he swings it at, I've got my hands on the handlebars, right? He swings it at my hand. Well, I'm not going to let that happen, so I jerk my hand away, but then what happens is he whacks the handlebar of the bike just on one side, whack. Well, that twists the handlebar quite a bit, and then you fall. You can't turn the handlebars of a bicycle 90 degrees when you're going 15 miles an hour or so. You can only turn it so tightly before it'll make you fall. So anyway, I fell off the bike because I had to let go of the handlebar, and he hit the handlebar with the thing and twisted it. So I got up because believe me, that's I have a lot of training and all this kind of stuff, not just the guns stuff. And rule number 1, if you're down, rule number 1 is get up. Rule number 2 is get up. Rule number 3, get up. Get up, get up, get up. So I'm down, so I get up. And had a bit of a scuffle with not the one that hit my bike with the stick, but the other one. I forgot. My friend, he drops his bike. Yeah, he knows what they're after, so he just throws his bike down and gives it up. He's like, here, take my bike. And he runs away on foot. That's right, I forgot about that. So they got both bikes. But this one of the two guys is like still wanting to mess with me or something. Well, he knows he was in a fight. He found out what that's like. And then they ride off with the bikes. And this was kind of aggravating. So I had to walk by myself all the way home. It was about, not very far, but it was 8 blocks or something, with a cast on though. So I'm ka-thumping, 8 blocks home. First I had to walk through the rest of the park to get to the real to the streets, and then about 8 blocks of streets to walk home, and called the police. And I think, although they couldn't be caught anyway. It took me an hour probably to thump my way home 10 blocks or whatever, counting the park. So it was pointless anyway, and it's a bicycle, they don't care. But I think that the way I ended up calling it in, or my mom called it in, I think the cops were picturing a bike leaning against the side of the house 1 hour, and then I looked a couple hours later and the bike's gone, and I'm reporting a stolen bike. And so I don't think they really understood that it was, they didn't just steal the bike. No, it was a robbery. I was on the bike when they assaulted me and took it away from me, So they show up like 4 hours later, at the door. And I'm like, well, it's kind of late now, guys. And then they get the picture of now they understand what happened, and then they take a description, and nothing's going to come of it. But anyway, so that's the cast, having a cast on my leg and during the summertime, and then getting robbed at stick point, right? Not at gun point, but at baseball bat point, getting assaulted and robbed of my bicycle. So I ended up not only having to walk all the way home, but also now I'm without a bike. And it's the beginning of summer again, and I don't even own a bike now. Fuck. So appendix. Try to do it quickly. I was about 9 years old, and I'm hurting here, right? And so I get taken to the doctor, the pediatrician, and he does a little test they do, and he pushes here, that hurt? Oh yeah, that hurts a lot, doc. And then he has to bend the leg up. Does that feel better? And I thought, yeah, that feels a little better. He's like, okay, I can feel that. He said, your appendix is all swollen and inflamed, and it's about to burst. So the appendix got to come out. And so just from an anxiety point of view, I was thinking, oh, okay, I got to get my head around this. I'm 9 years old or so. Is that the same year as the bicycle thing? I think it might have been. Not a bad year that year. So, health-wise. So, I'm wanting to think, okay, I'm going to go home, relax, try to wrap my head around this idea. I've never had surgery before at 9 years old. And sleep in my own bed and wake up the next day, and then, okay, we'll go to the hospital and I'll be mentally prepared for this. And he's like, oh, no, not at all. No, you're having this thing out right now. He said, this thing is going to be out of you in like an hour. He says, I'm calling an ambulance right now. You're going to the hospital. And they're going to cut you open and take this thing out. He says, because this thing, if it's like about to burst. And if your appendix bursts, you could die. You could die fairly easily. So he said, no, this is like emergency surgery. You're not going home. You're not going anywhere except the OR right now. So I was, super panic about that, because I was like, crap. I just wasn't mentally prepared for that surgery that I had. I have one more, but I wasn't sure I was going to do it, and I had the time covered up. 31 minutes. If you're watching these, really, there should be a cash prize involved. I'll think about that for the next one. I'll put in a couple keywords and say, okay, there's 3 keywords scattered every 10 minutes. If you tell me all 3 of the keywords I said, you win a cash prize. But thank you if you did watch this, or if you watched it in pieces and eventually got to the end of this. Like I said, I didn't touch the table. I think I didn't shake the camera. And it's cathartic for me. If it's of any interest to you, the few injuries I had and robberies and stuff, thank you for watching. Let me not make this any longer and push the button, and I might try to edit this a bit, tighten it up a little bit too. But thank you a lot.